Hey everyone, hope you're doing well. I'm Lucas and welcome back to another F1 23 League Racing video here on the channel, and today we have WOR Season 15 around Circuit of the Americas, and yeah, let's just jump straight into it, starting off here for our first dry lap in Q1. Usually I actually never do an inter run, but as you'll see we actually have a delta because we thought we would do an intermediate lap just for the memes, which I've never done in this game, but you know, why not? Heading into turn 1, we actually missed the apex and not quite getting the lap off to yeah, as good a start as we would have liked, leaving time on the table there if you missed the apex. So yeah, not ideal. Heading through now the high speed sweeping section of sector 1. Want to bring the car back over to the right hand side, getting it tucked in, bringing it over to the left now to begin sector 2. If you can, you want to sort of straddle over that curb and then use it to open up that sort of left-hander where you're, you know, basically nearly flat out, if not flat out, going through it, and then into this really tricky hairpin, really easy to over-rotate and lose the rear end to gain or lose a lot of time. But yeah, so far, you know, the lap has been, you know, no massive mistakes, just, you know, missing apexes here and there, or maybe not optimising, you know, the line a little bit. Heading in now to this heavy braking zone, incredibly challenging to get right once the marbles kick in towards the end of the qualifying, starting to wind our way now through sector 2. A big snap of oversteer there that we managed to correct a little bit, heading into this really tricky left-hander. The car sometimes just never-endingly wants to, you know, just not go into the apex, but we managed to get it in okay, saving the distance. You can just see the marbles that decide to pick up heading into this left-hander. Maybe not carrying the best minimum speed, but at least we made the apex into the last corner now. Not quite using the apex as much as we would have liked, but getting a solid enough exit, and it is a 4.70 with most of our time probably being lost near the sort of the beginning of the lap, but it was a good enough to get us through in the one run, 700s off P1, which is alright given that, you know, we made a little error here or there with a few things. But yeah, heading into Q2 now for our first run on the new tyre. Heading into turn 1, will we make the same mistake that we did the lap before in Q1? No, we don't. We do get to the apex relatively well, nice and straight on the exit, and yeah, not a bad start to the lap. Heading now into the high speed S's. Yeah, just want to try and open up the next corner and then the next corner and non-stop, but we do get a lot of understeer through there, and then yeah, compromising our line a little bit, not getting over the curb as nicely as we did the time before. So, that, yeah, albeit maybe it didn't look like we made a major error there, but that definitely cost us, you know, a big solid amount of lap time going through there. Maybe a little bit too early to the apex there through the hairpin, not carrying enough, you know, sort of momentum into the entry into the mid corner. But yeah, not an ideal lap so far with those little errors that are, you know, it was very hard to avoid. As we use a lot of curb this time, which you can sort of get away with, I guess, on the sort of middle run or the first run of a session. But when the marbles kick in, that line becomes increasingly risky, as the marbles will lose you, you know, half a tenth plus, which is, you know, a lot of lap time. But yeah, heading through now the end of sector 3, just 2 proper corners to go with this lap into the final sort of section. Not quite getting to the apex now, into the final corner. We do get to the apex a bit nicer this time, but ultimately it's not going to be anything sensational.
So hard to do.
A 292, and yeah, those mistakes earlier in the lap proving, yeah, pretty difficult. But now we have one run here at the end of the session, which we thankfully have anyway with our tyre allocation for free, if you like, to yeah, try and make some improvements, get into the apex quite nicely, sorry, and yeah, not quite getting an amazing exit, so we're pretty much neutral on the exit, but we know we've got a good chunk of lap time waiting for us as we head through this S's section. Do we get to the apex nicer? Yes, we do. Much better. Opening up the left-hander down to 5th gear, swinging it left and right. Do we get to the curb? No, we do not. So we do not optimise that section. However, regardless of that, you can see we've just about gained a 10th. So yeah, plenty of time left on the table into this hairpin now, going much deeper in this time and focusing more on the exit, and there you go, you can see the time reaping the rewards on the exit. And yeah, now it's all about hanging on to the lap time, as this is where the marbles start to become a pretty massive issue as we head into this left-hander. And you can see already not taking as tight a line as we did before on the entry, and we managed to actually gain, thankfully avoiding the worst of the marbles on that sort of inner part of the apex, and now heading through this tricky long left-hander. We do not get to the apex. We have a correction on the exit, but thankfully stable on the lap time, as the lap before probably wasn't anything sensational anyway. But yeah, miles up in the lap time. All we've got to sort of do is guide it home, get into the apex relatively okay, not actually gaining any time through there, into the last corner now. Nice and smooth on the exit, gaining a bit of time, and that puts us P5. And yeah, ultimately, thankfully, more than enough to get us through into Q3 now. But yeah, just very, very tricky to maximise everything across the lap. The car was feeling very edgy in many ways, which is funny, you know, because we actually had understeer in that lap as well. But what I mean by edgy is, like, you know, 1 minute you're going to over rotate, 1 minute, you know, you're not. 1 minute it's understeer, 1 minute it's not. It's on a knife edge. It was a very, very small window to get the best out of this car, but here we are now, kicking off our first run of Q3 using loads of curb there, which is actually not usually my normal line through there, but this time getting that curb and straightening up this exit, and it's actually been a pretty clean beginning to this first run of Q3, heading into this hairpin now, braking really late and beautifully rotating the car, getting on the power, and that is a textbook hairpin there, getting the rotation, getting that, you know, rear slip, and that is exactly what we're looking for now as we head towards the sort of end of Sector 2, head into this braking zone. Marbles haven't really formed as much as they will towards the end of the session. Relatively clean through there, now heading into Sector 2. We're on actually a pretty solid lap at the moment, but we have a snap of oversteer, but it shouldn't do us way too much harm. Heading into this left-hander, and again, just the car refusing to get into that apex. And yeah, now we've got it all to do with 2 actual corners remaining to, you know, salvage this lap a little bit, which was originally looking really good. We're too early to the apex. That cost us a little bit of momentum. 1 more corner to negotiate, getting to the apex, maybe taking a bit too much momentum out of it. DRS open, and it's going to be an 883.
Oh man, I can't believe that.
And that lap was looking pretty okay up until the this last sector, so we know where the lap time is. But yeah, we're going to have to clutch up. It's not an easy track to get the lap on. So here we are now, final run of Q3, heading into turn 1. Braking just a smidge too late, missing the apex a little bit, but crucially not losing time on the delta through the exit and stabilising the loss. So we're 200s down to start this lap, but we're going to send it through here now, through the S's, flat out, down to 6th, really tucking the car in nicely, bringing it over to the right, this time not using as much curb, but planting the power, really opening up and perfecting the curb usage over that left-hander, and we are half a tenth up through this section, and now coming in to, you know, the first of 2 hairpins into the left, taking in a bit more speed on the entry, but the car just doesn't live with it as much on the exit, so we do lose that time that we have just gained, but we are still neutral on the delta. The most of the time is in the last sector. We just need to somehow not get the marbles on this left-hand hairpin. Now heavy on the brakes, taking a wider entry, but thankfully the car picks up and grips up through that exit, and we are gaining time through that section now. And yet, this time, we do not have a snap of oversteer through that section. Will we get to the apex now? That was where we lost a lot of the time before, and we do this time, getting the car straighter, banging on the power, and now we are 800s up through this long multi-apex right-hander. And we've got 2 more corners to nail. Coming into the penultimate corner, diving it and carrying so much more speed than the lap before. 1 more corner to negotiate before we cross the line for the final time in qualifying. DRS opening, and where is it going to put us? Provisional pole. I don't care if it's not pole, I'm just glad I got a lap out of there. Oy.
Yeah, nice job, mate.
Oh, God, that is so hard to drive, man. That is one of the hardest cars I've driven on this game.
Caraton invalid.
Whoa, that was close.
We got Yana and Luke. Yeah. Say it then.
Yeah! Come on! That's what I call a clutch lap.
Work, mate.
Woo! And there we have it. We managed to, yeah, we just pulled out the lap at the end, and it was enough to put us on pole position. A very tricky quali to get the lap together, but we managed to do it right at the end, and yeah, was pretty satisfied with that. But here we are now, lining up on the grid, 5 red lights on your screen, and away we go. Getting a decent enough launch, pretty equal start with Yarno behind the top 3 of us on the hard tires. We actually have some soft runners defending to the inside to cover our position, as we have Ismail Fassi now going round the outside on the soft tyre, and yeah, which turns to the inside of Jarno, and that is us now. Sorry, up into yeah, the first sector, the first of 28 times, and yeah, Ismail Fassi on the soft tyres, going for something different. Yeah, all over the back of us naturally. So yeah, we just need to sort of, yeah, not think about him at all. You know, we are not going to be fighting him whatsoever to try and maintain, or even try and stay with him. To be honest, we are not not too fussed whether he gets away at all. We know our race comes in a bit later in the laps of this race, so we just need to be patient, and ultimately, yeah, we're not going to put up a fight with Ismail Fassi, who dives himself up into P1 here on this opening lap of the race. We have Jarno and Jake on hards behind us on the same strategy as us, and yeah, we also have Luke Smith on the medium tyre behind us as well. So yeah, I think he was one of only 2 medium runners to start the race, which was really, you know, I think there was more soft runners than there were medium runners to start the race. But yeah, as you can see, Ismail Fassi already starting to open up a little bit of a gap, and we are not using any energy whatsoever to keep up with him. We are just sort of settling ourselves into the rhythm of the race, and yeah, we know that, yeah, everything will sort of come back to us further down the line. As Luke Smith actually made his way past Jake Benham, and now also Jarno Opmeer into the top 3 positions now as we head midway through lap 2. Ismail Fassi has already broken the DRS barrier, which is what you would have expected at this point, and as you can see now on lap 3, Luke Smith going past us now. We don't even put up a fight with it at all. We're actually just going to use the DRS of Luke Smith just to, you know, cruise along. Luke will pull us along while his tyres are a bit better than ours. And yes, skipping on to lap 6, you can see here Luke Smith is out of battery already, and that would have been from him having to use all of his energy to actually get himself up the order. So here we are now, using a little bit of battery, but we effectively have a full battery. So yeah, we're not even using, we're just using the slipstream, with obviously Luke Smith derating down the straight, and yeah, giving ourselves P2 back in this train. And Ismail Fassi also starting to drop off more and more as the laps go on, but we were in absolutely no rush to take this lead back. We were just lifting and coasting, we were just chilling. There was no major benefit to us taking the lead at any early stage in this race. So yeah, we just hung back for a few laps, and yeah, kept the battery high, made sure the fuel was good, didn't do anything crazy with the tyres, and yeah, take the lead on lap 9, sorry, as Jarno also on lap 11 gets himself up into P2. And skipping on to lap 12, you can see now Ismail Fassi diving into the box off of those soft tyres, and he will be boxing onto the mediums. So now the top 5 runners in this race are on the hard compound tyre, and yeah, this is we're now diving into the box this lap. We are going to be getting ourselves onto the medium tyre, and surprisingly no one really followed us in apart from, I believe, Tom Manley and maybe Otis as well. Yeah, as you can see there on the top left. So yeah, all 3 Mercedes drivers, I believe, opted to go at least a lap longer than us. So yeah, this is now our chance to, yeah, albeit we're going to be at a disadvantage for the rest of the race with maybe 1, 2, 3, whatever it is, lap old tyres versus, you know, the other Merc drivers. We've got a golden opportunity right now to use these mediums when they're at their peak against hards which are coming to their end of their life, and yeah, this is a chance for us to really get a big undercut. So we're going to absolutely send it on this outlap now, as you can see on the top left of your screen. Jarno Opmeer into the box, onto the medium tyres, and yeah, getting himself a lap fresher tyres. But our outlap was, yeah, and such as the pace of a fresh set of mediums, we gained 3 seconds of an undercut there on Jarno, as it worked out. And obviously when you come out the pits, your tyres aren't fully up to temperature, so we are still going to gain on Jarno on this lap. And we also now have Luke Smith, who actually got caught up in a collision ahead of us, and we're going to get DRS in him as well, going down the back straight. So yeah, nice and patient, setting up the exit, and we are going to get a free overtake here on Luke Smith, which is one less car for us to negotiate. Now, yeah, we have now got the 3-second gap to Jarno, who has 1 lap fresher tyres, so he will gain that time back at some point in this stint when the tyres start to drop off a bit. But what it's going to come down to is how quickly we can get through this train of 4 cars ahead of us that had pit before us and went for different strategies, whether that be soft or medium, whatever it may be. But as you may have already noticed, we are flying up to the back of them, and we still have a very, very high amount of battery. And yeah, such is the grip advantage of, you know, whether it's well, actually against mediums ahead of us that had pitted 4 laps, maybe even earlier than us. As their mediums are starting to, you know, go through a bit of a dip, our mediums are still, you know, absolutely flying, and the grip advantage you have is just unbelievable. We can be so late on the brakes, getting past Dylan Warren, who thankfully didn't put up a big fight to him because he knows, yeah, it wasn't his race to fight with us. So yeah, thanks to him for being, you know, all G with that. Up the inside with up the inside of Ismail Fassi, even, sorry, into that. You know, that left hand on sector 3, and yeah, it is 2 cars picked off out of the 4, and we're already onto the back of Alvaro, and the quicker we can clear these cars, the better it is going to be for us relative to Jarno, who still has to go through the cars. So yeah, now having a look up the inside of Alvaro, you can see me just trying to use as little energy as humanly possible, and now up the inside into Turn 1, Alvaro doesn't put up a fight. And there we have it. Up into P2, with everyone else now having made their pit stop. It's just Esteban Puki between us and P1 in this race. With Jarno still, as you can see on the minimap, you know, a corner behind. So yeah, effectively like a corner out of sync with us. So we have, you know, the advantage, and we are just sort of glued to the back of Vista, and we get the DRS. So we're going to go up the inside anyway into this hairpin as we get the DRS, and now comes a really, really crucial point in the race. We have now got the lead again. Esteban actually used a bit of energy here, I believe. I don't know if that was just maybe to try and retake the position, but yeah, we burned a bit of energy anyway with our DRS open. And yeah, our tyres are still in a very, very good shape. They're not, you know, going through any drops in performance just yet. So what I found crucial at this point was to make as big a gap as I humanly could in these next few corners while I have that tyre advantage. So you can hear me say, they can hear me say there, minimal talking, because I was really, really wanting to make sure I got away. We have made the gap 9/10 already, such as the advantage, and I'm now getting really, really, you know, antsy on the, you know, the call with the guys, because we have now pulled that DRS gap, and I've just used, you know, massive amount of battery to make sure that happens, because now that we have done that, as I apologise now on the radio to the guys, we have pulled 2.6 seconds in the space of not even a lap on the car behind, just by utilising battery, and yeah, just the tyres just being so much faster in that little phase that we had. And yeah, we just absolutely sent it and got everything done. And you can see now Jarno finally starting to pick these cars off, but crucially for us, on lap 22 of 28, as Jarno finally gets himself up into P2, we have a 4-second advantage. Now, but albeit though, we didn't know how much energy Jarno had, and I mean that does look like a big gap, which it absolutely is. But our tyres are now, at this very moment in time on lap 22, starting to take their first sort of big hit in performance relative to Jarno behind, who had a lap fresher, who's going to hit that little dip maybe a lap or 2 later than us. So as you can see, Jarno gained 8/10 on that lap, and yeah, obviously utilising, you know, DRS and probably using a good bit of energy. And yeah, now it's 2.7 seconds as our tyres were obviously starting to degrade a little bit, but yeah, the gap is 2.6 seconds now on lap 23, and we just need to, yeah, hang on and wait for Jarno's tyres to go through that sort of same drop in performance. And yeah, skipping to the end of lap 23 now, starting lap 24, you can see the gap has stabilised with Jarno, and the gap is yeah, the gap is the same.
Was on 20%.
And yeah, the gap is the same. and his energy is also pretty similar to us as well,
equal with Yano.
as you can hear now on the radio. So yeah, now things are sort of equalising out a little bit. As you can see, actually Yano using, I think, the remainder of his battery now on that straight as he closed in there on lap 24 of 28. And yeah, we still had 24% in hand. We just wanted to keep that sort of little reserve there if we sort of needed it for whatever eventuality.
Yano flashing.
And now you can hear that Yano has used absolutely all of his energy. So, albeit he has a 1 lap tyre advantage, our tyres have now gone through, both of our tyres have gone through, you know, the respective drops in performance, and yeah, now we're able to keep that gap pretty steady without having to use way too much energy. And yeah, as you can see now, we're on lap 27 of 28. Make that lap 28 now as we come round the final corner to begin the final lap. And yeah, now we can just dump the remainder of the battery and yeah, control the remainder of whatever gap we have to Yano behind. And yeah, this was one of those races that just, yeah, everything slotted into place absolutely perfectly. We pitted on the perfect lap for, you know, when everybody respectively pit. We nailed the strategy, we got the moves done, and yeah, we made every opportunity count. So yeah, coming round the final corner now, and we are going to be taking the win here in USA. And that is a masterclass, thank you very much.
Just keep it
Mega
quiet,
drive.
This is in a real battle here.
Oh boys,
Good drive from Danny to
bloody
get up
good strategy, thank you.
Yeah.
Excellent execution, thank you.
To be honest, just Mega Drive.
there. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry
Yeah,
for
good
getting
job.
shouty at you in the
Yeah,
race,
smash
but I knew
Yeah,
I knew the
appreciate it.
importance of those laps.
I
pressure
deafened you. I deafened you, and I was just allowing you to go.
Woo! Yeah, buddy. And there we have it. Yeah, finally managing to take a win from pole position for the first time in whatever. I don't know when the last time was I converted actually, but yeah, converted the pole to the win. But yeah, nice to get it done. And yeah, it was a dream race, and we managed to clutch up in quali. So yeah, smells all round. Thank you very, very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Yeah, another league racing video on the channel. And yeah, like and subscribe and comment what you thought down below. And thank you very much for the support as always. And I'll hopefully see you guys in the next video. Take care, everybody. I love yous all. And yeah, ciao.